Hey everybody, welcome to episode 161 of Tactical Crouch. Kickedtripod here. It is Thursday, February 11th, 2021. Noon Pacific time, kind of. Pretty close, not really.
We're back to regular doo-doo, aren't we?
We're back to regular, no more
no
more sleigh bell doo-doos.
No.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's February, come on. I know we probably all just threw out our Christmas tree, but
we have a
lazy gamers.
have a like reusable one.
Yeah,
so we don't throw it out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I was.
What's the word I'm thinking of? Artificial.
I don't know where my
Artificial?
mind went. Yeah.
Do you keep the ornaments and everything on the thing the entire time?
No.
Just put it in the basement?
No. What
Really?
Hey,
That's a good idea,
I'm in an
though.
apartment. So you don't have
Right.
a
That's a
basement.
great idea.
So that's
Keep it
an
decorated
issue.
at all times.
B, it would be more work trying to bring like a tree with all the ornaments
That's true.
up and down the steps, than it would just be take the ornaments off in the first place.
That's yeah.
The lights are like pre-strung though, and they're like fused to the different branches, so you don't have to put the lights up. So all you do is put on the ornaments, and of course that's a ritual for families anyway.
Yeah.
So you got to put on the ornaments.
Not for mine. We are the take all the bags at the same time type of family. So ours just gets like, first off, every apartment in Germany pretty much has a basement. So that's
la-ti-da, wow.
and then
Is it like
you just put
the
like a
Yiska
giant
brand
bag
podcast?
over it, and then you just shove it in there, and
So like it can fold and like break down, but you just choose not to.
yeah, we just like ornaments and everything, just like back over it, pack it up.
Somehow
That's also what they do
me.
to critics of the Volkswagen company for their carbon emissions.
All right, here we are.
That
2021, baby.
That got dark, eh? Anyways, I had to think of a German company as the only one I could think of. They're like the main company, right? They have like Volkswagen, I think, owns
That are like BMW, I guess, right?
And then
No, Volkswagen owns pretty much everything.
Huh.
They're ridiculous. Like, if you think about, I gotta Google it, but they own a ridiculous amount of huge, motor companies. Wait, let's see. Which?
but they don't have as much Dogecoin as I do, though.
Do they not?
I doubt it.
Let's. Okay, so they got Audi, Seat, Skoda, Bentley, Bugatti, Lamborghini, Porsche, I guess you say, Ducati, and then Volkswagen commercial vehicles, Scania and MAN.
I don't know.
And is
That's
that all
half the
under
market.
Volkswagen? So it's like the main company Volkswagen, and they have.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how Nestle
Okay, so
has
it's
candy bars.
one
waters
group
and
owns all of that.
diamond mines.
one group.
And
Yeah.
plantations or something, probably.
Yeah, it's called commercial vehicles or something. Volkswagen Group, and they definitely own Bentley, Bugatti, Lamborghini, and Porsche.
I think it was because of Audi. It was. Did you see the Super Bowl commercial? It was with Will Ferrell. I think it was General Motors. Was it? It was the one with Will Ferrell and Aquafina, and they talked about their commitment to be carbon neutral or whatever by 2025, and
Maybe doesn't ring a bell.
And it's the whole thing is like, did you know that Norway is the most electric vehicle friendly company or whatever in the world? Blah blah blah, or country in the world.
Norway?
And Will Ferrell's like, Norway. And he goes around and he like punches the globe right where Norway is, and he's just like, he's like, "We're America, we blah blah blah," like da da da, and which is so ironic because like GM voted against like basically every carbon emission standard reduction or improvement in like the last 20 years. But besides the fact, so he goes through, and so they so Audi made a because I guess they're in Norway. So Audi made a commercial with the head wildling from Game of Thrones. Do you remember that guy? The red beard guy.
Yeah,
Thormund. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Tormund. Yeah.
Thormund. Yeah, Tormund Giantsbane. Whatever.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it's with him in it. He goes, like, why would you do this to the? He like drives to where Will Ferrell punches the globe and goes like, why would you do this? Like, just do better. It's our world, and walks away. And it was a big, funny little online beef. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyways, Overwatch, huh? Overwatch League, Overwatch League, Super Bowl.
We're getting there.
By the way, big thanks to everybody hanging out with us today, and a big thanks to our Patreon producers: Refine Bean, Ferdino, Pin, Battlecrab, Lotion, Rexane, Audio Compass, Kasha67, Shara Picasso, Nathan, Your Misery, Hunter Tane, Fabled Steven, Roger B, Owen, Chris R34444, Horbjorn, and listen to this podcast also on the toilet and in the shower. Thank you, Yiska, Peace Camper, Anxiety Pokemon, Sir Girthalot, Bronzebot, Boohow, Evan, and Alex S. Thank you so much for your support of the show. If you want to support the show, 3 great ways to do it. Patreon.com/tacticalcrouch. Sign up for as little as $1 a month to all sorts of different tiers. With different rewards. We're going to talk about, or not rewards, but like different perks. And we are going to talk about in a second what we're going to be doing kind of in play subs / alongside our game nights.
Yeah.
In just a moment. Another way is we stream on YouTube now, youtube.com/tacticalcrouch. Please subscribe to the channel. If you're watching the video live right now, subscribe to the channel. And then it just makes the channel look better.
It's not like Twitch. It doesn't cost any money. You can just press the button for free.
But we do have memberships on the channel as well for $2, $5, and $10 a month, and you have some perks there as well. Otherwise, just being here watching the show, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Sending us questions on twitter.com/tactical_crouch, joining discord.me/Yiska out. All that stuff is amazing. But you can also leave a 5-star review on iTunes. And those go a long way to helping us kind of get discovered via DOS algorithms.
It's true.
So
I like your German. It's great.
Thank you. Yeah. Pretty good with German pronoun or
pronunciation
particles.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Das. Un. You're muted.
Great job.
Good job. What's that?
Really?
It would be der Algorithmus.
Das.
DOS. Very good. Very good.
Anyways, yeah. Let's talk about the thing that we've got coming up. Joe, this is your baby. So you take it away.
You big okay. I try to put up a straw poll one time for one fun thing to do, and somebody raids it. So we had to, we had to fix
this. Man is already saying election fraud. Unreal.
No, there was.
He is from Michigan, so
yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty dire out here, I will say. That said,
I'm still not over it. Too soon.
Hey, we're on the mend, hopefully. But when it comes to this, we've talked about it in the past. We've talked about it a fair amount last show, and we wanted to start getting into have an excuse to watch some anime with some people and whatnot. So we started up a little discussion club. I don't know what you want to call it. In the first show that we're going to kind of start with, because talking with the guys, we're not super interested in starting an 800 episode epic. We're not trying to read the Epic of Gilgamesh or any of these long.
It's just like, guys, you want to talk about a book? Yeah, I don't really read books. Like, maybe we can ease into it. Sure, let's start with War and Peace.
Yeah,
Like, why? Why you got to do this? Like, nobody cares.
it did.
Get over it.
We're referring to, One Piece definitely got a lot of votes. And maybe we'll double back to it, or
Nope.
we'll figure it out at some point. Maybe I just will.
Can,
then I don't know.
You can watch it your own damn selves if you want to.
Yeah.
One of these days, I think I just need to like shut everybody up and actually.
I'm like 40 episodes in, and I'm like,
I feel you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm the same way. I'm not like thrilled about it, but regardless, yeah, we're not going to be doing One Piece, even though it like dominated the votes. We are going to start the Promised Neverland as our first little review / discussion point, and that's out there, and then we'll probably hit you with a date.
So are we watching these together, or are we gonna be like, watch the next 8 episodes by X date, and then we discuss those 8 episodes?
The idea is to kind of make it bi-weekly, have like an agreed upon. None of this is really set in stone. I think just kind of want to play it by ear, see how like the first few go, if it's too many episodes, if it's too short amount of time, if it's too long amount of time, and kind of adjust and really kind of settle into a nice groove. But not watching them together, as fun as that would be, I think that would be kind of hard to like rope everybody together at a specific time. And then like pound through like
we could
4 hours worth of shows.
We could like do it where we watch the last episode together before we discuss. So
that'd be
it's
fair.
Fresh in everyone's mind.
Could do that. But yeah, the idea, I do like that though. The idea, I'm gonna talk to the guys after the show, come up with a date that we all kind of like jump into a little Discord call and just hash out the show and ask questions and see if the show lives. If it does, then we'll continue on and watch another set of episodes, and if not, then we'll figure out through democracy, not through straw polling. No, just straight up.
Corner just fails me. Like,
yeah. Fair enough. Well, regardless, yeah, we're gonna start with the Promised Neverland. Apologies to all the One Piece fans out there. We will not be covering that anytime soon.
Just think about this way: if you watch 1 episode of One Piece a day, you would be 3 years older than you are now.
It's true.
By the time you finished, accounting for that would be accounting for the new episodes that continue to come out.
I remember watching the first episodes at my grandma's.
Yeah.
That must have been,
I remember watching the first episodes at your grandma's.
16, 17, 18 years ago.
Yeah. It's pretty old. And that's honestly, that's my biggest hang up is if there was like with Naruto, there's like, you can skip these there's so many like side
you can cut out
episodes.
all the fillers.
Yeah, you can cut out the filler arcs and just go like straight story. One Piece, I can't find anything for that. And I can't get past like, and the most recent kind of animation and dialogue feels a lot more fleshed out and grown up and kind of dark, whereas like the first 50 episodes are just very,
it's very happy-go-lucky.
Even my niece is like, put on The Simpsons or something.
Give me some substance, please.
The Simpsons, really?
Simpsons.
Oh, that's some boomer stuff. I don't know.
No, The Simpsons is bad, but like put on something a little bit more adult for me, please. This is a little childish.
I don't even know who's the demographic of The Simpsons. Who watches that?
Millennials.
It was kind of all over the place.
It was all over the place. The thing is they lost most of their really great writers after season 13.
13.
So, and they're like on season like 34 or something like that.
God damn.
It was just a weird show. Like, you never really laughed, did you?
Oh yeah, I
just
did.
Like mildly.
Do you have Disney Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Go back and watch some episodes between like episode 6 or season 6 and season 13.
Okay.
There are some absolute gems there. However, what I really want to do is I want to do a game night where we watch King of the Hill with Yiska.
King of the Hill's hilarious.
I want to watch King of the Hill with Yiska. Actually, after the show, I want to watch King of the Hill with Yiska.
I'd be down.
I would run for everyone. It's
We're gonna
it's
do
fine.
it. We're gonna do it. After
I'm
the
so
show.
bad with comedy shows because
you're
I
just
just
not
not
funny
laugh. Yeah, I just not laugh.
I
Like,
mean, I
scripted
don't need
comedy
you to
is not
laugh.
my-
I just want to see your reaction. So you have Cam
the
on.
reaction
We'll
will be
watch.
funny.
We'll watch an episode. We'll watch the episode where Bobby needs to take self-defense courses. He goes down to the YMCA, and there's only women's self-defense courses left. That's the episode we're gonna watch, and it
Okay.
will be amazing. Yes. Oh, I'm excited now. This is gonna be great. Oh, this is
He's
gonna be
what?
good.
He's woken up.
I'm up. I'm awake.
Sleeper has awoken.
I have all I need is some purpose in my day, and I wake up.
Yeah, right.
That's all it takes.
Something to live for.
Let's talk about some Overwatch though.
Yes.
We do have BlizzConline next week,
Yeah,
Yep.
it's coming up.
and I didn't even put this in the notes. But of course Eric did. It's funny. Ever since we gave Eric access to like help us with timestamps, we now have like
Lifesaver.
complete show notes with like really well thought out ideas on what we should talk about. He's just like, here's what you can talk about. Do this. So if you like the topics that we talk about, thank Eric.
Shout out there.
If you don't like the topics that we talk about, blame us for not planning, because that it's our fault regardless. So BlizzConline, and there is a schedule release. Oh, this is nice. I'm
There's
gonna
a bunch
actually
of
go
little-
ahead. I'm gonna bust out this schedule right now, eh? Let's
I
just
haven't
do
looked at
this. I haven't either. This is brand new.
Breaking news
Can I
per
get into-
sources.
So opening ceremony,
actually.
2 p.m. Pacific time, so perfect time for the Germans. Let's see, we have World of Warcraft, What's Next, Hearthstone Deep Dive, Diablo, behind the scenes of Overwatch 2. Is something that we have there, and Overwatch creating a soundtrack. So this is, and there's 2 days. So then Saturday we have Shock versus the World. We have a community showcase, workshop creations, Overwatch League crafts with Zoe. That's kind of cool.
Intelligent.
And then Artist Studio Roadhog. So based on that,
Uh-huh.
let's talk about what we think what we're gonna see from BlizzConline for Overwatch the game, and as well as Overwatch League. If you have any inklings or guesses.
Well, it has been announced with Shock vs. the World that they are going after the kind of like celebratory show match, exhibition. They're going to kind of release the format and the schedule for the Overwatch League, which is interesting. Definitely another reason to watch Shock versus the World, other than, having some fun. Watching the world champs, beat up on some of your favorite streamers and content creators and whatnot. But when it comes to Overwatch, the game, it's kind of just a dice roll, right? There's a lot of things they could do. They could do nothing. But at this point, they can't choose to not roll the dice. I think that's probably in everybody's best interest to give something rather than just stick to their guns, and stick to this idea that there isn't going to be a hero. There isn't going to be changes. We're not going to talk about anything, and just kind of keep us in a holding pattern. So I feel like Blizzard has to roll the dice. What it lands on, that really could be anybody's guess, right?
I don't know what you mean by roll the dice.
Like if you think of a 6-sided die, and on each of those sides, there's just like
You
a
roll
thing
them.
they could do.
You
It
just
could be
ro-
free to play on one side. It could be a hero on the other. It could be a new archive event. You name it, put it on that dice and roll it, and that's what the metaphor is.
For a second there, I thought you were actually going to explain what rolling the dice means.
Yeah.
And that was really
I don't
funny.
know. I still
So
I still
all
don't
he's
understand.
saying is there's like 6 viable options that Blizzard could do, and none
Right.
are any stronger than the others. So you might as well roll a dice to figure out which one that they actually do.
Okay, I'm not sure if that's true. I feel like I would strongly like I'd probably 10 times more want a new hero than anything else what you mentioned.
Do you think that we're
Like, I don't
getting
think that-
any new heroes or maps
I
in
don't think we're-
Overwatch before Overwatch 2?
No, I'm just saying the enjoyment that I would expect to get out of an announcement would not be a dice roll. Like, it would be a heavily weighted dice that I'd every time want to land on new hero. Everything else is just relatively boring.
So I mean, there's a few things, right? So number one, we do have it confirmed that Overwatch 2 is not launching in 2021. So if we do get a launch date,
most likely, yes.
there's no, I mean, it's confirmed. During the earnings call, it was confirmed.
Yeah, they said they don't expect it.
Overwatch 2 to launch in 2021. So that, for me, like, we might get a spring 2022 like announcement type thing at BlizzCon. Which earnings call, by the way, most successful year ever. While meantime, Blizzard games just feel, I would say World of Warcraft is doing quite well, but the other, bye Joe. We lost Joe, so the overlay is going to be a little messed up. But I don't know, like, Overwatch is just, man, is it a dead game? Like, not from the player base, not from the league, but is it just, like, really dead right now? Recycled events, no new heroes, no new maps.
Yeah,
we got a new
stuff, but
we got a new, like, small, like, map for, like, whatever it's called. Like
Kanezka or
whatever. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, that, it's just, I don't mind at all, to be honest. Like, if it wasn't for hero pools, we'd have no changes. We'd have no meta. That would be so sweet. But
yep, it would be sweet.
That's unfortunately not happening because we are artificially messing with it still. But I guess we just have to accept. But I don't know. Like, I have virtually no expectations and feel like even if Overwatch 2 info came out, wouldn't interest me much. I expect new footage. I expect
new footage,
to show
character
off.
models.
That's nothing that excites me. The PvE part never excited me about that game. Like, last year's demo looked really, really boring to me.
Well, I don't think it was even mostly finished because a lot of those fights were just, like, in various hangars. Like, imagine a Star Wars game where you just run from hangar to hangar and they're virtually no different except for the ships that are hanging around in there, or, like, are there turrets or are there not? I don't know. I'm really excited for Overwatch 2. I'm ready for it. I just can't think of how big of a mistake it was to announce Overwatch 2 almost a year and a half ago now.
Yeah. Well, okay, let me throw this at you. I think I agree for the most part, but I wonder how you guys take this. Is it okay to announce a game, or was it too much to show off, like, all of the assets that they had ready? To just say, like, hey, we are working on it, versus, hey, there's a playable demo. Hey, look at all these character redesigns. Hey, look at, like, all this, footage that we've already kind of rendered. Is there a difference in your mind? Do you think that they showed too much too soon, or is it okay to just announce something and then just leave it at that?
Yeah, a play demo was it's just weird when it doesn't come out.
Right.
Yeah, after, right?
So is it that weird kind of disconnect where it's like, okay, well, there's a demo, so, like, is it not done, or is it, like, close to being done? Like, is it a weird messaging? I don't know. For me, Overwatch is, like, it's hard for me to judge because, like, it's my emotional landscape is give me the heroes that are in Overwatch 2, give me the new map type, and then basically give me everything that doesn't have anything to do with PvE. And, like, that's what I'm excited about. Like, I will probably buy the PvE portion. I will play it for a bit. Don't expect it to sink in more than 20 hours, to be honest.
I'll play it for the lore and the story. But that's the only time I play PvE games, honestly. Is, like, I throw it on the easiest difficulty, and I just stroll on through shooting things. And
Yeah.
that's it. By the way, I want to make sure, so people are in chat are like, the Overwatch team didn't want to, blah blah blah. So there's two things I want to address. We're not placing blame on anybody who if they were forced to or coerced to or had to put something together for a demo for BlizzCon. We're not blaming the people who had no say in that decision. Jeff is the vice president of Blizzard Entertainment, so I'm a little bit skeptical if you think that he can't decide when it's ready to reveal his own game for a company that he's number 2 in, or number 3 if you think that Activision is kind of slightly over the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so like he reports to Jay Allen Brack, who reports to Bobby. But that doesn't make it any better. It's still really bad timing. It's really bad marketing. People are, you almost kind of want the game. Activision doesn't want this. This is where I think Blizzard and Activision would approach this problem differently. I think that if Blizzard would call Overwatch 1 a mislaunch and is going to launch Overwatch 2, I think that they would almost prefer the game to kind of just die and dwindle out for a really strong rebound with Overwatch 2. And I feel like Activision Blizzard would be like, do whatever you can to keep the, keep the hook in the mouth, get people in, transactions, boxes, do events, I don't care, recycle them, and do whatever you can to keep that afloat. Whereas Blizzard's like, you know what? Let's if our game isn't good enough that we need to relaunch it, do we really want people not want people playing our game? Obviously they want people playing our game, but do we want to be putting assets and putting things out so early that you can't maintain that hype cycle? And Activision puts out 250 gigabyte games every year, and that's like it's just a totally different scale and a totally different mindset, and I don't like it. I think Overwatch 2 is too early. I think that we should be getting Overwatch 2 now, this week at BlizzConline.
Yep.
That would be perfect timing. I think that you could probably do some stuff with, like, I would have dedicated more time to multimedia teams and lore over the past 15 months. And you dedicate those, create events, create that type of stuff, maybe small kind of map assets, that kind of stuff. And it's tough, but I think that that's the route I would have gone.
Oh, I agree. Having it now would be, I think most people expected it now, and that's where I wonder if it was that messaging or that shift in tone when they showed so much so early. It's disappointing that it's not coming out, but in a weirdly cynical way, I'm kind of fine with it, as long as, the people who are going to be enticed and be brought back into the IP from the story and the lore aspect to get what they want, and the heroes are fleshed out and are interesting, that are introduced, and these game types and these new maps and whatnot are strong pieces of content to bring people back in the fold, and then whatever else they have under the hood that may or may not be going on. So I'm fine giving it time.
I think in some way it's actually good that the timing shakes out as it does. At best, they'd have like a January launch, I think, because if you think about it, if it was to launch now, that would mess with the league, because now and then if it launches, let's say in autumn or late autumn, let's say, then you have people probably playing open beta on streams. And how is that going to coincide with like Overwatch playoffs or whatever, Overwatch League, right? So I think the best time frame is if you have an open beta for it, comes out November, December, or close beta even. Get the streaming hype there, and then in January you launch, open the floodgates, let people play with their heroes, and you have like 3 months, assuming we start again in April, and to acclimate. and then we can jump into the season without a hitch. I think that's the most preferable stuff. And then, of course, we're starting with Overwatch 2. Possibly, like, it really sounds like we're getting Overwatch free to play, at least from their framing of their earnings call, as well as some people in the know in the league talking about it officially on social media. I think Adam from Overactive Media did so. So, yeah, I think in that regard, it actually is pretty good for competitive that it shook out this way. Because, like, you can imagine, like, Overwatch League, as big as it is probably not significant enough for a rollout to matter, but for the economic bottom line of the game release cycle. So if they found a release date that was going to be significantly more profitable, they wouldn't care about Overwatch League, I think.
No. We would have got it a week before, and
to be honest, viewers probably wouldn't have cared either. Like,
No, I think they'd probably be more excited. I think people would want to tune in. I think there'd probably be more hype with the launch of the PvE stuff and whatever new heroes. I think there would be a big injection. I think it would just come at the detriment of any kind of competitive integrity with either new heroes or new engine assets, you know, changing how certain mechanics work or interactions or whatever bugs come with, you know, a new kind of release of a game. Yeah, it probably would have been a net positive, but definitely some negatives.
Yep. Yeah, no, I think in essence, like, this was well telegraphed, I will say. Like, I think realistically, by September last year, I think other reporters, for instance, with the information I had, would have gotten out and said we're pretty confident it's coming out in 2021. So didn't feel safe at the time, but yeah, the signs were definitely there, and in that, I think teams were pretty well adjusted, even though it wasn't a definitive statement. You know, it was more like, it doesn't look like, because, like, keep in mind, here for once, COVID is a good excuse, because there's a lot of complexity towards how that impacts live development, creativity, efficiency, these types of cycles that definitely feel delayed. So yeah, I think. Sure. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm already past it. I'm not really upset about it. Everything that we get at BlizzCon, maybe we get. I could totally see us getting a hero, for instance, like just thrown our way.
But that's the issue, right? Is that they've already publicly said with the release of Echo that they weren't planning on releasing another hero for the base Overwatch game. So is that hard and fast, or is that a little bit more malleable with, you know, the development cycle of Overwatch 2 taking a little bit longer than they expected? Is that something that they're willing to kind of, you know, walk back
COVID,
on?
by the way, again,
sure,
let's just,
we have
to throw it out. COVID. Announce a new game, and then, you know, imagine now coming up on a year not actually being in your physical studio to make the work. No doubt you can get a lot of that work done from home, but I don't care what anybody says. There's a lot of teams, especially creative teams, that I personally believe, and I believe certain personalities really thrive in face-to-face work environments, and
100%, yes,
that is needed. There's also just as many, I think, who, you know, work better, just very in their own element, in their own space, with limited guidance and limited type of that face-to-face interaction. So, like, that's not meant to be a blanket statement by any means, but you know, that is going to adjust, you know, your lead times on the game. So we need to be somewhat lenient there, but
for sure.
I don't think that this is all just because of COVID, because even if you take all the COVID months out, I still think 15 months, assuming that take, you know, the last 12 months out, and we're talking about a spring release 2022, that's still a 15-month minimum tease time, and that's pretty long by any standard.
For sure. Is that kind of when you think it's you'd kind of guess is when
I think-
Overwatch 2 comes out?
I
Spring
think so.
2022.
Yeah, I think we see spring 2022, and I think it's on the very early end of spring.
Hmm.
Like they would put winter if they could, but they won't, just to give them more lead time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like or
Which
January,
is fine.
February, 2022 is
That feels
like we're looking at like February,
right. Yeah, kind of
Maybe,
coincides
maybe
with
my
it.
birthday.
Right on your birthday, just for you.
Maybe makes sense.
Hopefully. Again, it's disappointing, I guess. We'll see what we get. Hopefully, it's something. I'll say this: I don't think it can be nothing. They have to. They have to do something.
I also think like because of the delay for BlizzCon and then this BlizzConline, there's a real chance that we're getting a second BlizzCon this year as well. I almost expect it. I'm not sure if you guys were skeptical about that being the case in November.
Like a LAN one, or
Well, I mean, if the world opens up again.
I do look at the size and scope of this, and it looks, oh man, this feels mean. I don't like really want to say it this way, but it feels very under delivering. Yeah, just underwhelming. Yeah, just in general, like it's very kind of straightforward and just kind of like, I don't know, there's not honestly all that much going on.
At BlizzConline or
BlizzConline, yeah.
Yes.
It's
yeah.
I mean,
maybe
does that change with
they
like
scheduled from 2 to 4 o'clock a streamer showdown, which I produced, by the way, for Hearthstone. You know, and like it's a great piece of content.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't be 50% of the Hearthstone content for that day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, certain IPs are just like mega dead, right? Like, or not delivering the same innovation every release cycle. I will say though, I'm kind of bummed that no Diablo 4 news will be coming out. I was looking forward to that.
I mean,
at least a try. Like I'm somewhat like that was.
They're pushing Immortal though, right? Like we're getting Immortal pretty soon.
Yeah, didn't care about that either. Well,
you don't have a phone.
Yeah,
you all have phones, right?
Yeah, but like that's an interesting like how much screen on time usage do you have during the pandemic on your phone?
17 hours.
Oh,
really? Is it more or less than it used to be?
So mine is, well, I've been working from home for a long time.
Right.
So it's about the same.
And how much?
It's a long time. I actually don't have an accurate representation because I literally fall asleep to shows on my iPad, which count as screen time, and I don't shut down my computers or put them to sleep. I just screen.
No, I'm just wondering about cell phones specifically.
Cell phones,
because
well, it's my least used device.
Yes, like it's the same for me. I don't know if these ogre logs of thumbs are just like really not liking inputting into a cell phone device. But even like before the pandemic, I rarely had more than 2 hours of screen on time. And like others in my others I talk to have like 8 hours or something, and they're actually doing active work on them and stuff. And I'm like, nah, dude, I need a gigantic monitor. No. Give me a keyboard. Like I just can't.
I'll hit like some replies to emails or Slack messages to and from places the one time a week I'm at a place.
Right.
And I don't know, phones aren't really an at-home device for me. And the only time it is when I'm like in front of my TV. So I'm not going to have my laptop in front of my TV while I'm watching a movie or TV show.
Yeah.
Oh, Yiska.
Well,
sidebar. I want to watch, there's an HBO special called 30 Coins. Do you have HBO?
Oh, no, I don't think it exists here, but I might be wrong.
Anyways, I think that there might be, but I want to do like a book club with you for the show to see your thoughts on it. That's all I'm gonna say. We're sidebarring, and now we're off the sidebar.
Okay. 30 points.
I'm surprised I remember that.
What's it about?
I don't know. I'm kind of weird. So I love like biblical thriller horror type stuff, like Constantine and Dogma. Have you ever seen those shows?
I liked Constantine. Yeah.
So it's like that, but I think a lot more rugged and raw, and just
Oh,
kinda
right.
yeah. It's I don't know if we should talk about it on the podcast. It might be kind of just
Right.
a weird tangent. We'll talk about it after the show.
Right.
While we're watching King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways, wow. Good luck with the timestamps on this one, Eric.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. Anyways, BlizzCon, man, let's not be Debbie Downers for a second, and let's just talk about what we're looking forward to the most for Overwatch for BlizzConline.
Right.
I assume that we're going to get some cool multimedia stuff, which Blizzard kills.
They
I
kill
honestly
every
think that
time.
we're going to get some sort of
Like a short?
multimedia partnership announcement.
do you-
So beyond like another short, like maybe it's more Dark Horse comics, maybe it's an actual
Oh, okay.
like show or series that they partnered with, whatever, Netflix, Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, wasn't that
HBO.
like the plan for like the longest time, especially when it released when it was like real hot? Like, wasn't there supposed to be like a mini series or some sort of that was at least talked about? Maybe I'm just
Yep.
Mandela affecting this into existence, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that was at least the rumor at the time.
a dedicated Overwatch porn site, maybe, who knows?
Hey. You know, if it scratches an itch for you, go for it. I'm not here to judge.
Jeez.
More Nerf guns, maybe.
More Nerf guns. Why not?
Let the kids play.
You know?
I honestly think, like, don't you guys think it was kind of like okay, maybe that was long planned, but like maybe it's just fortunate that the earnings call, of course, has to happen at that particular time, and then you just casually drop, we don't expect Overwatch 2 in 2021. So that, as like, I don't know, as framing, that feels really low impact in regards to what it could have been. Like, imagine announcing that at BlizzConline. You don't want to do that on a stage.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
You don't
So
want to
now-
go, hey.
And they usually use Gamescom in the past to like buffer,
buffer,
any
right.
sort of announcement expectations.
Right. And now, like, our expectations are low. We've established, like, we're emotionally down here, and now they can give us some sugar, and everything beyond nothing is a nice benefit that, in terms of framing, just works out very well.
And you know,
I love Yiska's positive take. So it's like no more Debbie Downers. Yiska's
it's so negative, it's
take
positive.
Is they set the bar
So low.
really low that I have such low expectations that they can't let me down.
Bro, this game hasn't given us a hero in like over a year when it should give us 10 heroes a year or something. I'm done giving good good takes on this. Like, it just needs more.
I said this was a no Debbie Downer segment.
No Debbie Downer. Well, what are you
we had this
positive
whole
about? What are
time
you
where we
excited
shit
for?
all over it.
See,
true.
like, that was
usually
the most
just-
positive thing I could have said at that moment. So, like,
That's fine.
I think that's the cap. I think we cannot. Maybe one or two heroes until then. Maybe they just continue the release cycle and rush like more into the expansion to come down to the same amount. I think maybe them just announcing the continuation of that. Maybe there's some cool other stuff in there. I feel like they're also really counting on like someone finally finding a good workshop mode that everyone just wants to play and get Overwatch for. You know, like,
Did I tell you my long-term belief about Overwatch's impact on video games?
go ahead.
That Overwatch is going to give birth to a entirely new gaming genre that ends up getting huge. Just like
Sure.
Warcraft 3
On the workshop.
birthed the
Yeah.
MOBA.
Right.
Overwatch
Arma
2
birthed-
Workshop or Overwatch Workshop is
Battle
going
Royale,
to
yeah.
do the same thing. Do you see that someone did like Super Smash?
Oh,
They did,
yeah.
like Super Smash in Overwatch via workshop mode.
It doesn't
Nah, I didn't
surprise
see
me,
that,
but I
but-
didn't see it. No.
Yeah, no,
We
but
should do that for a game night.
I feel
That'd be
a lot of
interesting.
people are currently emulating, just like we get cool stuff like surf and that all that stuff. I think we need someone that just like looks at the engine, has a spark, and it develops something completely different.
I
Just
agree.
like
I agree.
like for instance, Battle Royale felt like something that was just in the zeitgeist of gaming because we played all played DayZ, and we're all like lying on top of Cherno, logging through servers in order to find new victims with our snipers, duplicating ammunition, and what we really just wanted to do was like have high impact battles where when you kill someone, they have to start anew. And then this, player unknown comes around and goes, "We can make that a game. Let's go." Right? And
Yep.
I don't know, like maybe we can find something in Overwatch that is the most fun about Overwatch, but quintessentialize it more. But I'm not sure there is such a thing. And maybe we need to think outside the box much more. Not sure.
If we knew the answer off the top of our head in a random conversation on a C- podcast, then it would have already been done.
Yeah. Though, to be fair, I think that answer was way more obvious in DayZ than it was in because like the community, sorry, that's a side tangent, but the community had been fighting the developers to like ease off on all the realism stuff and just develop stuff and gunplay and like and this guy just wanted to have the ultimate like real life apocalypse survival stuff, and now he's completely irrelevant. Like he just didn't follow the vision that or the enjoyment that other people had. Now for Overwatch, I don't think it's as obvious other than making a workshop mode without break. Pretty much, that's the extent of it.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, hindsight is 20/20 on those things. Like having been on the like hold your ground side and being right. Having been on that side a few times, there's definitely just as many situations where the developer is right and the quote unquote community is not correct. And it may seem obvious in hindsight,
at the time.
just like it's like power rankings.
What do you feel is like the most enjoyable part about playing Overwatch?
Winning with friends.
Yeah, to be honest, I think outside, if I can't cop out and say social aspects, it feels like every hero at least has something that they can do that like feels good, whether it's like the Widow headshot, like it's all packaged very nicely, like it's obviously very impactful, the sounds there, it's very satisfying. There is some like satisfaction, a weird like fraction of satisfaction that you get from each hero, but it's always different. Like if I'm playing Brig and like Winston jumping in and I whip shot him out, like, oh, that was like good. Or if I like Roadhog click somebody and kill them, that was, satisfying. Sticking a pulse bomb or one clipping somebody, like it seems like there's not like a through line, at least for me, but like each hero at least has something that's satisfying about them. But the game itself is just so different each time you load into it that you really don't get a good.
Wrong.
So weird. Like my answer would be completely different. For one, maybe in like 3% of the time I have fun when playing with friends.
It's because you lose a lot.
You lose a lot, and like it's never as satisfying and as coming together stuff as it feels in your head. And then like the satisfying stuff, I don't know, like for instance, like you guys would probably tilt more at like the rest of the group in WoW just completely messing up and therefore not killing the encounter. I don't mind that at all. As long as I can look at my damage meters and I do well, I don't care.
I did well, I didn't die. Yep.
Yeah. And because I don't have that in Overwatch, because everything is so dependent on others, Like, I don't have that solace of like, oh yeah, I played well.
So would you want like a workshop mode with like dedicated in-depth stats to know like, oh, I'm performing above, in the top 5 percentile or whatever?
I mean, if they legitimately just create a human level intelligence AI or be super intelligent that accurately, so I believe it, tells me like I did better than everyone else, then yeah, I would probably enjoy that game. But because you cannot evaluate what is good play in Overwatch to that degree statistically, or like once again you sit two coaches next to each other of like the two best teams in Overwatch,
and they tell you completely different things,
and they tell you completely different things. You can't do that. It just doesn't work.
Isn't it?
And I think that's also an underlying problem with like the toxicity in the game. You can be
there's nothing clear,
highly skilled, and you can agree like that's why it feels like there's certain like hierarchies of like skill happening, where like when you're like seen as this like best player, then it feels like that gives authority to the opinion, even though that doesn't really make sense. But like that's also why you could easily see, like, for instance, this Jake Whoop clip. Did you see that this week?
Yeah.
Where Jake just popped off on, or not popped off, but it was a little bit passive aggressive on
somebody who's playing Genji.
Whoop. Yeah, just playing Genji on
which
on
apparently isn't like a meta hero
Root.
on the ladder right now. And it's like, if you don't swap off Genji, I will not heal you for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and it's
like,
just like two different minds that are obviously like pretty good at Overwatch, just like having such a vital disagreement about stuff. That happens to a degree definitely also in other games, but I feel like just nowhere near to the degree as it does in Overwatch.
I mean, the problem, or not the problem, but a problem with it is just the impact on proper personal responsibility is really high, whereas the obviousness of what your personal responsibility affects is really low.
Yep.
It's really important that you do something right, and it's really hard to tell when you've done something wrong. You have a lot of high skill players that are very low impact, even though they feel like, whatever, I pulled the hog into the well. I'm a god. And so basically, like, high impact plays can actually be very low impact, and low impact plays can be very high impact. I mean, we have conversations about this all the time when we review matches, where it's like, it wasn't this, Rhine shatter. We use this example all the time. It wasn't the Rhine shatter. It wasn't even the subsequent Lucio boost. It was the Zen ult, the fight previous, that was the most impactful of that following fight. Yeah. And that is,
I think that was,
it's just such a, it's such a complex game, and then it makes it really easy because it is so arbitrary and it is so opinion based. It's so easy to blame other people. I've been playing car soccer for the past month and a half or so.
It's probably very clear when somebody screws up.
You miss a ball, you hit the ball. Could you have hit it at a better angle? Could you not have? Could you have gotten it there faster? Could you not have gotten it there faster? Did you score goals, assists, saves? Or did you not have scores, assists, saves? And there is definitely a lot of still, like, I didn't hit the ball because I wasn't positioned correctly. And you might not always understand that I was not positioned as well as I could. Therefore, I didn't hit the ball. That might not be as obvious, and it's to somebody who is, higher skilled. But at the end of the day, you either hit the ball or you don't hit the ball. And there's a lot of opportunities to determine if you're hitting the ball or not. In Overwatch, there's not a lot of abilities, especially if you're not playing a DPS role. There's not a lot of situations where you can tell if you're hitting the ball or not.
Yep, that's definitely the case. And it's also like, I don't want to explain the full concept of a prisoner's dilemma, but the basic idea is that two strangers have to. The setup of this idea is that two strangers irrationally have to make the decision to sort of cooperate to get the best out of the situation, while being selfish is the more rational decision. In many ways, this is what playing support and tank feels like. Because if I'm a tank, the rational decision for me is to queue tank and only look out for my enjoyment in that game. And I'm the only one responsible. I'm not responsible for your enjoyment. I just play Roadhog and have a ton of fun, just like giving people, and we just lose. Right? That's the rational stuff that everyone is responsible towards for their own enjoyment. Now, the prisoner's dilemma situation is where I count on or believe that my supports will make the experience fun for me by playing well. Therefore, we all have more fun, and we attempt that. Now, if I get into a rank game, every time I do it, or like a significant amount of time when I do it, the experience is just not fun because the other one is not upholding their end of the social contract, either willingly or mistakenly or like by accident, then this entire thing collapses. And I feel like that very often is also the case with friends, where I'm like, I know you didn't do this on purpose, even though like sometimes maybe I'm getting like really annoyed by impulse control, where like people just have to ego peek as Anna into a widow or whatever, and then I just want to put up, like when I'm playing Reinhardt and not getting heals because of that, I just want to put a hole in my monitor, right? Like and then it would be more rational for me to just go Roadhog and play for myself, right?
Sure.
But if everyone does that, then the game sucks more for the DPS, then the game sucks more for the supports, and if everyone plays for themselves, like I don't know, like very rarely do things come together and coalesce in the games I play. Like even the wins where you like eke something out, I don't know, it doesn't reach the level of sophistication for the vast majority of people of the strategy of things coming together, where you're feeling satisfied by the team play. It's not that, because things also change too much. Like in WoW, you can say, okay, we have this boss encounter, it behaves predictably, this is what is expected of you. Sometimes it's random, but you still know what's coming, and then over weeks we can grind into that. No Overwatch game is like this. Way too many maps, way too many compositions possible. Like this, you cannot prepare to the same degree and expect others to uphold their part of the social contract. And it's sort of like, how much fun would WoW be if healers just decided, maybe I don't heal the tank because I have fun just like getting that Holy Nova in and competing with the DPS here. Like that type of stuff, right? And that's what Overwatch very often, especially with friends, feels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, agreed. I think there's a lot to that, but if there was a way to give the rational side of us something to kind of chew on, like you're saying, with some sort of like heavy statistical impact rating, something along those lines, to say like, oh, even though we lost, at least I played well, and I can see that, shown through these numbers or through something, right? Like the medal system, I think we're done and gone with that, right? But in that same way, it only furthers my belief that I think, weirdly enough, that Surefour was kind of onto something, that fundamentally the game needs to be a little simpler, but complex in some of the nuance.
Yeah.
So that you can feel like you can finesse somebody, that you can feel like you're having individual outplays, that you can kind of grind away at the game and have these exciting moments because you've put in the time and the effort. I think his example was taking the entire game and making it control based. And then I guess my own addition to that would be to add something on top of it, so that you're not really completely removing everything, but you're simplifying and then adding little things to make the gameplay experience a little bit better. Customization or something. I'm spitballing here, but I think the idea definitely fits kind of a lot of the gripes that I'm hearing, is that you can't it's too complex and it's too changing day by day that you can't look at a game and figure out exactly what you need to be doing, or the general populace can't figure out exactly what they need to be doing because it's so different every time you load it in. So if we simplified that down a little bit, if we boiled it down to like its core, the core fun aspects of it, and then gave you something to like work at, whether it be like a high mechanical skill hero or adding in something about the game that fixes it, or adds to it rather, along with these stats to kind of give us an Overwatch DPS meter or healing meter or something. Maybe even like more definitions when it comes to roles, better or more clear definitions on what a tank is, what a support is, what they're supposed to be doing, rather than just kind of nebulous, like, I mean, obviously Lucio is very different to something like a Moira. They do very different things, but maybe that could be, I don't know. It's all over the place. Overwatch is a very bizarre game. There's something to it that is good, but it's hard to really kind of put your finger on it. It definitely gives you something you can't really get anywhere else, but it's
just make me down 300 points when I'm with a group and we're fine.
Yeah.
That's it.
True.
That's it. Quit matching me with groups that are better than me just because I'm in a 4-stack or 5-stack or a 6-stack. Done. I fixed Overwatch. You're welcome.
Sure.
Anyways, so that was our optimistic part of discussing BlizzConline and Overwatch.
No, in effect, I think we will feel a lot better after the information has.
I mean, we always do, right?
Socials
do you know if they're allowing co-streaming
at all for those?
Not sure.
Not a clue.
I got to work through it anyway, but like they I think we'll feel they're going to be some wins in there.
Some
just based on
you think
our
Winston's
expectations.
There? Some
Winston's
Overwatch.
Some Winston there.
Ideally. Hopefully.
Yeah. I'm also not sure if whatever is going to be announced is going to serve like an old like esports elitist head expecting the changes to.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't care less about lore. I honestly don't understand the fascination with lore in this game. I think for a video game it's actually really underwhelming, but a lot of people don't agree, so.
And that's
the
fine,
lore we've been given or
up.
the potential of the lore to be awesome?
No, I think I just don't like the setup at all already for the entire game.
Huh.
Yeah, I just got done playing God of War. That's my stuff. That's much more like if I was looking into lore, which is also, by the way, because it heavily relied on mythology. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like,
I know that I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Assassin's Creed, God of War, I get it.
Yeah, I don't know. That said, I never had any. I thought lore was any good for Blizzard. It was always very basic and like, to me, yeah.
I think, I mean, man,
I don't think I've ever read a worse book than the one StarCraft book I had to completion.
That's fair. We don't talk about StarCraft on the show, for many reasons, but you know, the issue is that, or not issue, but Blizzard has clearly made really exciting, engaging characters that I think I can safely say the majority of people either identify with or identify with enough that they want to know more about their story, why they're doing things.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that is clever storytelling, but I think the actual majority of it is a lack of storytelling and a lack of base, because they gave you a bunch of characters, some maps, and then little Easter eggs of stuff. Very short comics, very short. They've drip fed it too much, almost to the point that it's really difficult to care about the heroes that you don't know about. You know quite a bit about Reinhardt and why he's there. He's been Winston is another one that you've seen over and over again and had their stories threaded kind of throughout. And then you have heroes that really haven't had a whole lot to do with the lore. I think Symmetra is a great example of one where we've seen drips and drops here and there. We kind of loosely understand her role in it all and what she's trying to do. but not really. Zarya, I think, is another example of someone that we just know is like a champion of Russia, and you know, she shows up at the end of the Sombra short, and that's just kind of it. And the potential for being better with storytelling and actually telling full on stories is very high for this game, but they just, for whatever reason, are unwilling or unable to do it. And I don't understand why. I don't get it. I just like,
yeah. There has been.
Just make a TV show already. Just do it.
Yeah. And there again, like from chat and even from like my own personal perspective and hearing you guys kind of talk about it, I definitely think that we are kind of a product of our own little closeted, hermetically sealed like side of Overwatch, where I think the vast majority of people are like big jazzed about PvE and like learning more about Tracer and learning more about their favorite heroes, like you're saying, John. And I think that if we were to see something like a Netflix series announced for 2022, like Q4, I think it would go over well, and I think it would probably be one of the biggest announcements that we've seen. I think that because the community is so divided between like the small competitive side of things and then like everybody else, our view on these topics are so kind of skewed. I do think PvE, as long as it's executed relatively well, I think can be a gigantic deal for this game.
All right, here's my hot take.
Hottest.
I think Overwatch is more valuable as an entertainment IP than it is a game IP.
Don't hate that.
That's not hot at all.
I think there's good evidence to suggest as much. Yeah.
Yep. And I hope that they execute on that soon, because it's only fleeting. It's only quieting down.
Yep.
Comics, art, shows. What else could you do with it?
I don't know. Just put Henry Cavill in a tunic and sell it to Netflix and make a bunch of money.
I mean,
that's all you have to do.
Not a bad idea.
That would work.
Not a terrible idea. Yeah.
Who
I think it would kill.
Who would play? So who would play Reinhardt?
I'm the worst with actors.
Really easy ones would be like Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
I think you could gray out and make okay.
Costa Waldau on roids. The guy, Jamie Lannister guy.
All right, thinking outside of the box, knowing that that they're not really going to go A-list. That makes sense.
Yeah, probably not.
They could though. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think Reinhardt is
Ron Perlman.
A hard one.
I see. I understand Ron Perlman there.
John Cena.
John Cena. John Cena would be like a low budget Hanzo to me. Very.
Really?
Yep. Which obviously I don't think you could do for cultural reasons, but
yeah,
I think he could pull off Reinhardt, to be honest. Just slap a beard on him. He's wide enough. That works. Is there anyone that's a total shoe-in where you're like, okay, that character is just made for that person?
Oh, that's a good question. Terry Crews is Doomfist.
Yeah, could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a little old, right, for that?
I don't know if he's old as much as he is just like he only has one style of acting.
Right.
You know, I watched
Keanu Reeves as Winston. That's the stupidest thing I've ever read. Nice.
Well, I mean, but Keanu Reeves is like as like a McCree. Like I could kind of totally see.
Now, Timothy Oliphant as McCree is, yeah, Porkchop saying he's completely right. That makes a lot of sense. You know the guy that played Justified?
I know Timothy Elephant. Yeah.
Like, right. Yeah. The Justified character, and that's pretty much like, yeah, I feel that. I think that's the best one.
Andy Serkis could do Junkrat.
I mean, Junkrat feels like that's a. I mean, doesn't Jim Carrey type of thing? It would be fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Overwatch heroes. I can't even remember.
I have to like think of all.
So here's the thing. This it doesn't suck, but Gina Carano, right? Or Cordano,
Corona.
she was in Carano. She was in Mandalorian. Would be
Is
like
Zarya,
a
you
perfect
mean?
Zarya.
Yeah. See that? Yeah.
There's probably some other buff
get
ladies
around
that
a few.
could get it without. Yeah.
I mean, Zoe Estresa is just like perfect shoe in as well.
Yeah. Acting debut. Well, maybe not debut. Maybe she did some stuff.
Yeah, no. I'll give it a think. That would be fun to.
That'd be
go
a fun
through.
like little thing to throw together, like a piece of like a written piece or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Sean Connery as Ryan.
That would do well, by the way, as well.
Oh yeah, but it's only
ones?
only the wrong answers though.
Oh,
Only the
that
wrong.
would also
Yeah.
that would also be fun. Yeah.
So somebody said Ken Watanabe for Hanzo. I think he's a little old, but I totally see it.
Oh, can we have an Overwatch comedy show where it's like just washed up like Overwatch heroes, like living their lives day to day, but like reminisce on saving the world? Like unnamed, like hero number 5 is just like working as a secretary. And like, I don't know. I think that'd be kind of funny.
Oh,
see what I'm
John
saying?
Rice Davis is Torbjorn.
John Rice Davis, who's that?
Gimli.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're all. It sucks because there's so many old actors that would be great.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's very old. Yeah, no, that's a fun exercise. Oh.
Or like Anna,
Okay.
the. Have you guys seen The Expanse?
No.
There's a lady there who sounds exactly like Anna, but she's not actually Anna's voice, but it's like very old, raspy, and she's same age as Anna. She'd be a perfect. It's Shora Ogda something. Sorry.
You know what would have slapped? David Bowie as Moira.
Ooh. Hey, this is the shoe in right here. I just thought of it. Tilda Swinton as Moira.
Let's see. I'm bad at with names. Let's see. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. No, that's true. Yes, 100%. That's a shoe in. I agree.
Do you think you could do like a Bryan Cranston as like a Soldier 76?
You probably have to put on a bunch of weight, right?
You'd have to bulk up.
Bulk up. Yeah. I think it could work.
Someone's at my door, so someone want to handle the closing stuff?
All right.
Sure.
Because
Here we
my
go.
wife is on crutches.
So,
Let's go.
thank you everybody for tuning in. Appreciate you guys sitting and hearing about us ramble on about BlizzCon and what could or could not be coming and the excitement around that. And that is provided to us thanks to our lovely patron producers. And those people are Refined Bean, Fraudinho, Pin, Battle Crab, Lotion, Rexane, Audio Compass, Kasha67 Char, Picasso, Nathan, Your Misery, Hunter Tane, Fable, Steven, Roger B, Owen, Chris R34444, Orbjorn. I listened to this podcast whilst on the toilet and in the shower. Thank you, Yiska, Peace Camper, Anxiety, Pokemon, Surgirth, Bronze Bot, Boohow, Evan, and Alex S. Thank you all so very much for supporting the show. And if you can't support the show monetarily, you can always, click that little subscribe button and the bell down below, and tune in whenever we go live, and give the show a 5-star review on iTunes. That helps us with discoverability. With that whole algorithm nonsense. So yeah, thanks for showing up. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah,
and yeah.
I think generally, like, because we didn't talk a lot about esports stuff, and there was definitely some stuff like the Valiant guys being picked up. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, this was probably the least exciting week of the year. In terms of like esports content, like next week we'll have like BlizzCon to talk about. Then the week after, like we have the Shock versus the World stuff, and then whatever comes next, right? Like, and then we go into the preseason, like we go into power ranking season and all that stuff. So in that regard, it was, I guess we could have talked a little bit about KSP. Elevator explanation is, I think that's a straight upgrade in terms of like just getting a heavy grinder on that still loves the game. I was surprised positively that they picked up last show. I think that's one of those moves that, like, I had this article together with Eric where we calculated how many tournaments a team is likely to get. I think this is one of those moves that puts Toronto in top 5 territory, where the amount of tournaments they can expect to get out of this season has significantly increased. And I'm still skeptical on their flex DPS, but we'll see how that turns out. And then Shaxx, definitely an upgrade. It's a bit, I feel like there's a little bit of an oversaturation on that role in particular, but we'll see. And I mean, now Spark has a lot of time to also, like, for them to just, like, if we were to have another, like Tracer, Sombra, Ashe, Widow type of situation, like these metas switching around, then yeah, that's a perfect pickup as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think also people will be excited excited to find out that I expect Shaxx to have way more than the Tracer role that we held him on, and he didn't have to pick up the other heroes that KSP was playing. I don't think those heroes are worse by any stretch of the imagination. So we will see.
Somebody delivered ice cream to our door.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Really? Somebody. It was actually Katie's work. They sent her some recovery ice cream.
Wow. Yo, you guys get all this? What? Really?
Yeah, because we're nice.
From Jerry's. I think is what it's called. Jerry's ice cream. Jeris. Jerry's.
Yeah, a friend works for an insurance company, and they like randomly will deliver lunch and then like a bottle of wine, and it's like the middle of the day.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, okay. I mean, we definitely have a history about insurance companies like not doing the most cautious stuff during work hours, but like that's then, and sometimes also liquor, and like it's just wow.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have those operating costs. Might as well send your employees some stuff. But yeah, this one's just for her, kind of recovering on the couch today, next couple days.
Awesome.
So it's nice.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna eat it all and be like, if you want some, come up and get some. Oh, you can't.
First come, first serve.
Oh, that's right, you can't. Ha. All right, chat. We're gonna get. Did you guys go through all the stuff, or do I have to go through all the stuff?
Yes, we did.
You already did. Okay, so we're just done.
Yeah,
we're done.
We're done. No sign-offs or anything.
Nope.
All right. Bye, chat.